Did Saramonic quietly create the microphone that Sony couldn't? Among the dozens of microphone companies that are on the market today, there's only a handful that have actually taken advantage of Sony's multi-inner shoe hot face, and as a shocker to all of us, the Saramonic Air has recently joined the ranks. It's lightweight, the battery lasts for 2 full days, and you can pick it up for as low as $140 US. So throughout this video, I will be using a mixed track of the Saramonic Air with a few moments of raw audio sprinkled throughout, which you can go ahead and skip to now using the timestamp that is on the screen if you really want to ruin all the fun. But Saramonic was kind enough to send out the Air at no cost to me. However, this is not a paid review, and they have no say on what I'll say. So let's get into it and let me tell you why this is a better microphone than any of the wireless mics that Sony's produced. The Saramonic Air comes with everything you would expect a wireless mic to include, plus some extras. Everything shoves conveniently into the included accessory bag. However, for your everyday carry, well, at least for the most part, this actually fits into the included charging case. And what doesn't fit in the case actually gets thrown back into this bag, like the 2 external lapels that we'll talk about later, a 3.5mm coiled cable, a USB-C charging cable, and this special little adapter that's the real star of the show. Circling back to the charging case though, there is a clear window that has a digital battery display, something that I've yet to see any other manufacturer include, but if I'm wrong, feel free to fact check me on that one in the comments. All of which is powered via a USB-C port on the side of the case, which can be recharged in roughly 2 hours and gives you up to 48 hours of working time with multiple recharges. The case itself does feature a premium-like build, as the case is primarily composed of a metal body, albeit with some plastic elements throughout to help it save on weight and obviously cost. Inside the case, you'll actually find the receiver, which features a non-touchscreen display, which shows you your audio levels, lets you manage a few of your main settings, and you can enable or disable the included noise cancellation via the buttons that are just below the screen. There's also a line out for real-time audio monitoring, and it can be recharged separately via USB-C. The receiver can easily be mounted to your camera with the included clip shoe mount adapter, or alternatively, you can connect your smartphone with the included respective USB-C or Lightning adapters via the proprietary twist lock system that's on the back of the receiver. Coincidentally, this is actually the same system that has been used cross-platform between many of the Saramonic products, as well as through their sister company, Boya, which if you haven't checked out my latest video on the Boya Mic 2, I've gone ahead and tagged it above, but feel free to open that up in a new tab and then come back to it when we're done here. I promise to be quick. But the fun doesn't stop there, because Saramonic sells a separate $30 adapter that pairs perfectly with the Air, and this allows you to connect the receiver directly to your compatible Sony cameras, like in my case, the Sony a6700. Simply twist the receiver to the adapter and then slide the adapter directly into your Sony multi-interface hot shoe. I would show you, except well, we're filming on it together. Sony actually sells their own wireless microphone that includes the same ability. However, it costs a shocking $570, and it doesn't include a comparable charging case. It offers limited mounting options, and it lacks a key feature that the Saramonic transmitters have hidden up their sleeve. But Saramonic didn't just stop there. They actually believed that they needed to keep the momentum going, and by doing so, they made the transmitters a real statement piece. They only weigh a shocking 11 grams, and by doing so, they pack a crazy punch, because while you can use them like a traditional wireless mic in either a clip or magnetic configuration, they also double as a hidden transmitter if you want to use them with a wired lav mic, which is kind of wild given their form factor. The body does use a proprietary TS9 port for the wired lav, meaning that you are kind of locked into whatever future options that Saramonic offers, but this isn't exactly a bad thing, because the 2 wired lav mics that they do include look and sound amazing. And while Saramonic is keeping with the retro trend here, the capsule housing is a little bit oversized, but it perfectly blends in with shirts for both casual and professional situations. You can mount the lavs with ease by using the included clips, and to ensure that they actually don't come unplugged, Saramonic actually recommends wrapping some of the cable slack around the transmitter body a couple of times, and then you actually lock it in by using the included metal clip on the back for added security. So whether you plan to record using the internal 6mm capsule or even the external 9.7mm option, both offer clean, dynamic 24-bit 48 kilohertz audio, regardless of the setup, allowing you to film as a vlogger one moment or double as an on-set professional later. But enough telling you how good they sound, let me show you just how good the audio is even with the raw track. While this is a primarily untreated garage, the Saramonic Air actually still holds strong, especially when paired with the different EQ settings offered, like the 75 or 150 low-cut filters, the voice enhancers, and my personal favorite feature, the auto limiter. It's similar to how 32-bit audio works, and this is what I would actually consider the poor man's variation, as the transmitter will automatically adjust the gain for you depending on your different environments, allowing your audio levels to be perfect every time, all of which contributes to reducing some of your time repairing your audio levels in post. And this is how those external lavs sound, which is pretty good, right? I know that I'm a big t-shirt guy, which you should probably not be using these clipped to your collar. You should actually be using these on a nice collared shirt or blouse, but this is probably still plenty efficient just for this sake. Optimally, you do want the microphone closer to the mid-chest area, but even at neck level, the sound captured is actually more than sufficient. As always, you will get the best sound with the mic the closest to your mouth, but unless you want to commit to being a TikTok influencer, most of us aren't going to go that route. But if you are thinking like a TikToker, let's go ahead and hop outside and see how these sound, and I'm gonna try not to go viral for looking like a weirdo at the park. And this is what the lapel mic sounds like outside. So I do have it clipped to my collar. It's probably not the ideal location. You're probably going to want to put this mid-chest, so if you're wearing a button-up or something like a blazer, it's going to be a lot easier to mount this. But again, for the sake of this test, I do have it on my collar. I actually have the transmitter just on my pocket here, just out of the frame. So what do you think of the sound of the lapel inside versus outside? That's a really loud plane. Now, by default, the first press is actually the strong noise cancellation. So what you actually have to do, or at least what I just did, is I actually pressed it twice to enable the lighter of the two noise cancellation modes. So there's a bunch of cars that are going to be driving behind me. It's a pretty busy day. It's about mid-afternoon. Right now it's actually 2 o'clock. So this road is pretty busy, but this is what the lighter noise cancellation sounds like. So I'm assuming at this point you can probably hear the cars going by. They're not going to be completely muffled, but what I want to do now is see how the strong noise cancellation sounds. And now this is the strong noise cancellation. So again, you actually have to turn noise cancellation off, then you have to click it one more time to enable the strong noise cancellation, which is the first mode. So in just a second, I believe there's going to be some cars behind me. Yep, here we go. So how does the stronger noise cancellation sound on the Saramonic Air? Can you hear me? Do I sound robotic? Does everything sound muffled? Or have the cars been completely eliminated and all you can hear is my voice? This is probably going to be my first time testing this out myself, so I want to hear your thoughts, and I'm going to give you mine in just a second when we go back inside. This is a microphone that is rated for 300 meters line of sight. Right now you are actually up against a busy street, but the point of this test is I want to see how far away I can get before the signal cuts out. How strong is the signal? About right here is considered 100 feet. So you should be able to still hear me. However, if I turn my back to, hoping for the sake of this microphone that I don't cut out. We're like 210. So yeah, 220, 225. So clearly there's a sign here. There's a light post here. This is about 225 feet, 230 feet. Apparently it keeps updating, but yeah, you should be able to hear me. But again, when I turn this, or does the signal stay completely intact? We're almost there. Again, I'm still facing you. Considered about 380, 400-ish feet. I don't know how accurate the Apple Watch is, but this is about half of the rated range. So you know, in the background. So this is approximately 400 feet. At this point, what do we think? Is the microphone good? Is the signal strong? Really, it's not about distance, it's more about strength. And personally speaking, I think that is more than sufficient. If you are filming someone from that far away, you're gonna need a really, really long lens. Hey Siri, how many feet are in a mile? 5,280 feet. So I did a 1/10 of a mile? Did I do that math right? To no surprise, the noise cancellation actually sounds pretty good given the form factor and the price. But for what it's worth, and this is just my 2 cents, I personally wouldn't use the noise cancellation, not just with this microphone, but normally with any microphone. There are a few exceptions to that rule, at least for me. When you're going back and you're re-editing your audio, you can't undo the internal noise cancellation, especially on the tracks. Even with like a safety track, there's never a raw audio option. So the best course of action is to actually go ahead and record all of your audio and then do your noise canceling in post. That way you have a clean, unmodified track that won't be ruined later. The Saramonic Air offers just about everything that you would need in a modern lav mic, but that does come with a few trade-offs given its compactness. As I mentioned outside, unfortunately, in order to turn the noise cancellation on or off, you actually do need to do this via the receiver, which is a bit odd compared to some of the other microphones that are on the market. Personally speaking, I do like the fact that Saramonic offered to include a mute button, but I think this would have been better portrayed if they would have just kept the standard noise cancellation button instead. The receiver is pretty limited in functionality though, which is fine because Saramonic does offer the fleshed out app, but there's no Bluetooth support requiring you to actually use one of the supplied adapters via your smartphone, which is fine, but that does add additional steps to the process, which can slow you down, especially if you're in the moment. But these are fine trade-offs, especially given how cost-effective this microphone actually is, which we should probably talk about. In the US, the model that I've actually demonstrated, including the 2 lav mics, as well as both the USB-C and Lightning adapters, runs for $169. However, you can order this set directly through Saramonic's website, where they do offer a version without the lav and Lightning adapter for as low as $139, and then another version with just the lavs for an additional $20. If you do end up picking up the Lightning adapter separately, you can find it for as little as $12 later, and replacement lav mics cost $15 a piece. I've gone ahead and linked all of this as well as the $30 Sony hot shoe adapter down in the description below if you do consider picking up the Saramonic Air for yourself. Ultimately, the Saramonic Air is a fantastic budget-friendly option for creators on the go who also want that flexibility to offer more professional options, provided that you do opt for the external lavs, all while coming in at a fraction of Sony's very own wireless mic system with similar, albeit limited features. But what do you think? Has Saramonic offered a breath of fresh air to the microphone industry? Let me know your thoughts below, and be sure to drop a like and subscribe on your way down. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace. I used the wrong hand. Why did I do peace with this hand?